Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Caesar Rants. My name is Cesar Fernandez. If you don't know, now you know. And in today's podcast, I have a special guest in the studio with me. His name is Jameson Harris. So say hello to everyone, Jameson.
What's up, guys?
And me and Jameson actually have been knowing each other for about 5 years now. And so we know each other pretty well. We can communicate pretty well. And we decided to make a podcast about New Year's resolutions because 2018 is coming to an end in a few short days. And 2019 is about to start, which is kind of scary because you get something that you're so accustomed to. And 2018 just felt like the same thing every day. Now going into 2019, who knows what that year is going to hold? Who knows what's going to happen in our government? Who knows anything at all? But that's not the point of today's podcast. We want to talk about some New Year's resolutions. Now I want to know, Jameson, have you ever had not a podcast, have you ever had a New Year's resolution that you've completed successfully, or a New Year's resolution that you maybe felt really proud of? And what was that New Year's resolution?
Yeah, there's been a few new resolutions that I just haven't completed, and that's pretty common. Only about 40% of people anyway complete the resolution, so I mean it's no big deal if you don't, guys. But I remember one resolution that I'm very proud of, that's helped me greatly, and Caesar here, has been committing to something. And the thing that we both committed to was the marching band at our local school, and it's really boosted our work ethic and our motivation to do things and made us do better in class and et cetera, et cetera. And when I stuck with that resolution, I realized that it actually made me a lot happier. I started improving on just every day, like the way I was doing things, and it really ended up working out for me.
Yeah, and I mean, with that New Year's resolution as well, it shows that you can stick to something. And some people that I know, their New Year's resolution is maybe not drink soda, just drink water and juice, or maybe just drink water.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually been trying that for about a month. So I'm not just gonna pop into 2019 one day to the next. I'm just gonna be like, hey, I'm not gonna drink any more soda from now on. I feel like it's harder to quit like that because you're like, I mean, it's a New Year's resolution. I can just do it next year. But right now, I've had like a month without drinking any pop. It's just been water and juice. Now I know juice isn't really healthy for you at times, but it's still pretty healthy for you. And I know you got it's healthier than soda. I mean, soda can sometimes
Yeah,
not be.
because soda has all that like that corn syrup and shit in it, and like I understand what you're saying. That makes sense. I just found it funny.
Yeah, but I mean, one New Year's resolution that I've struggled with is trying to lose some weight, because I feel like everyone struggles with that. I feel like most people, their New Year's resolution is losing weight, and it's sometimes hard to do that because you have so much you have to quit in one day. And I feel like people are like, their mindset is that they can't focus on just, hey, I'm gonna lose weight throughout the year. They just focus on, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds the first month, which is, it's hard to do like that. You have to set a schedule and a timeline for yourself. You can't just quit everything one day to the next. You have to quit slowly and slowly.
Right, and it's funny that you say that because like that's obviously the number one top resolution is just making, like, losing weight, doing some more exercise, getting out there, getting active, and like 37% of everybody that makes a resolution is the resolution is to lose weight, and only, I mean, very few people actually are successful with that because I don't know, they have a lack of a clear goal, they lack their motivation, they don't have the time to do something like that, and it doesn't end up working out. And so I think everybody that's, most of the people that say they have a resolution to lose weight, even though this isn't everybody, most of the people that make that resolution are just saying that because nothing else comes to mind, and maybe they do want to lose some weight, but in reality they're probably not going to have time for it. Because like only 45% of Americans make a resolution anyway, and most of it's like somebody comes up to them like, hey, you got a resolution? And they're like, oh, just one off the top of my head, yeah, sure, I'll lose some weight, so.
Yeah, and I mean, we're actually reading an article here, and it says the number one reason for our failed resolutions are lack of a clear goal. Like you said, Jameson, people's vision gets blurry when someone just asks them, hey, what's your New Year's resolution? They're like, oh, I'm gonna lose weight. But I feel like sometimes people need to go more in depth and, hey, maybe have like a plan set up, because not only are you just throwing something out there, it's like, hey, what's your New Year's resolution? Hey, my New Year's resolution is to buy a Lamborghini at the age of 16, 17, 18,
Yeah,
19,
yeah.
before you're even like 20 something years old. And I feel like that's a bit harder to do, and that's kind of like losing weight. You don't set yourself up for that success. And I know losing weight is a lot easier than buying a Lamborghini or buying your dream car. That's like
I mean, it can be, but at the same time, it depends on how much you want to lose. And like I said, if you think about it and you overthink how much weight you want to lose, or like what do you want to do with your body, like it can get overwhelming and you lose motivation really quickly.
yeah. And I mean, that's like, I feel like that's a problem with New Year's resolutions, but it's not just losing weight. It's anything at all. It can be maybe being happier and trying to be more successful as a business person, or just trying to be more successful as a person in general. And for me, last year, my New Year's resolution, I didn't have it clearly in my head, but later on throughout the year, I was like, hey, this should have been my New Year's resolution. This is what I really accomplished this year in 2018, and that's being more happy and trying to be myself and not really caring what other people think. Unless it's, of course, something that I should get advice on, I will care what people think. But if someone's talking bad about me, or someone's trying to start some problems with me, I'm going to ignore it, because I feel like that's a waste of time. And that, I feel like some people need to focus on that for some New Year's resolution. And yeah, I don't know if you have something to add before I keep ranting on.
Well, I mean, I'm just listening to your brother. I'm just trying to I understand what you're saying, and I think the main reason to this kind of off topic, but the main reason that most people fail at their resolutions is just because they don't have the positivity for it. Like a bunch of people go into the New Year negative because oh, maybe Christmas didn't go the way they wanted to go, or they didn't get something that they wanted from their loved ones, or maybe the night before, maybe on New Year's Eve, you got in a fight with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whoever you got in a fight with, and you're like, oh man, this year's gonna be bad just because the night was shitty and all that stuff. So I mean, positivity is key. You got to keep a positive mindset, be motivated to do your resolution, and you can't let things like people getting on your nerves get in your head and bother you.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that's what, it's not clear what a New Year's resolution is. Some people might just say it's something I want to have done before 2020 whatever, 2018, 2019, 2020 is over. But really, I feel like it's more of what you accomplish in that year. Say you're trying to progress to be a better person, you're just not going to, it's not going to happen in 1 year. I'm sorry to say, but it's not going to happen in 1 year. It's going to take some time. It might take 2 years, a year and a half. And it might take more than that, because every single day and every single year you want to improve yourself. You just don't want to do it in 1 year. And I know some people always say, go on social media, they're like, oh, for 2019 I'm cutting this person off. Honestly, that's dumb, because if you really want to cut someone off, you would have done it a long time ago. You would have not stuck with them and stuck with that toxic person. And I strongly believe that you shouldn't have toxic people around you in the first place. If you do, you need to change the people you hang around with, because they're just bringing negativity into you. And that's, I feel like people need to focus more on that for their New Year's resolution than say something that they want to change in 1 day. They need to do something that's going to change for that year and so on, not just one single year, because you can lose weight in 1 year. I'm not saying people can't do it. It's really sometimes hard for people to do that New Year's resolution, but if say you just put your mindset to it for that year alone, the next year, 2020, you could gain weight again if you're not committed, just because
Exactly.
the year's over.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. You can lose weight, or you can stop drinking soda, or you can cut people off, or I mean, you can do a whole lot of things for a year, and then as soon as that year ends, I mean, you're probably gonna think, oh, I stopped eating junk food 2019, 2020 rolls around, you're like, oh, I can have a bag of chips here and there, and then it grows to more because you haven't had junk food in so long. And let's face it, we live in America, junk food is great,
Yeah.
but and then throughout the year 2020, you start putting that weight back on, and then what's your resolution going to be for 2021? It's going to be lose weight again, right? Because you put it back on. So I agree with that. A year, if you want to do something and you want it to affect you, you can't just do it in 1 year. You got to continue on and do it 2018 to 2019 to 2020. Whatever it is, you got to do it. You got to stick with it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of things like that. I used to. There was a time where I didn't drink soda for around 6 months, 5 months, or around that time earlier this year. And someone that I know actually, we were hanging out, and he says, "Hey, I want to stop drinking soda," but he buys a soda. So I'm like, "Look, I'll tell you this. I'll drink the soda, and you drink the water. I haven't drank soda in a while, and I don't really think it's gonna affect me. But the thing is, drinking that caffeine really affected my mind and really affected myself because after that, I just drink soda all the time." And it was back to how I used to like drink soda every day or drink soda at least 3 times a week, which is really bad for your body. And now I'm about a month or half a month near there of not drinking any soda, and I honestly feel great. And just thinking about drinking some soda makes my stomach turn. It makes me feel kind of sick, honestly, because I got so tired into the cycle of drinking soda that my mind just does not like it and does not want it anymore. And that's something that I'm really glad I could do before the year 2018 is over, so I can carry that on into 2019. So I know more of, hey, I'm not going to drink soda. I know exactly what I want to do for 2019. And I honestly want to know what your resolution is for this year, or do you have an idea, or are you still creating one for the year 2019?
My resolution for 2019 would probably be, I don't really know. I think I haven't thought about it much because, we just had Christmas. I've been focusing on that. We hung out with a lot of family. We talked about how the year went, yada, yada, yada. Oh, by the way, hope everyone had a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
But my resolution would probably have to be to stick to things because, I was slacking a little bit back into school. I kind of fell behind and got overwhelmed on my work. I do admit. And so one thing I would have to do is probably stick with the things that I'm doing, like a resolution. If I was gonna make a resolution, I gotta stick with it. So I think my resolution is actually resolution in a way, like to stick with just whatever I do, just to stick with it and get it done. Like I don't stop halfway through or quit it before it's finished.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not trying to hate on people who don't finish a resolution. I know it could give off a vibe like
Yeah,
that.
right. Because I mean, me and Caesar and I are like we're along those people that haven't completed resolutions. Like it's a common thing. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, and I mean, when people ask you later on, 5 months, 6 months after the New Year's, and they ask you about your New Year's resolution or how your New Year's resolution is going, and you just straight up tell them, you can be like, "Hey, I didn't complete it. This happened, that happened." Whatever you want to tell them, you can tell them. And I don't think anyone should get mad for anyone for not completing a New Year's resolution. And I know everyone does it. I do it. Jameson does it, like he said. We both do it. You do it. And it might seem like we might be hating on people like that, but we're not. I just want to get that out the way because honestly, it's a mental thing, and some people aren't as mentally strong to take a challenge like that on, or maybe their brain just clutters with everything because when people think of a New Year's resolution, they're usually not working or they're not in school, so they're on vacation. They don't feel that stress of, hey, I have to do this, I have to go to school, I have to do whatever, because once they get back into that mode of, hey, I gotta wake up at 6 in the morning, I gotta wake up at 4 in the morning, I have to go to school, I have to be at work till 9, I have to be at school till 9, especially during marching band practices, we don't really think ahead of that, and we don't plan accordingly, so our brain just clutters and wants to shut off, and a New Year's resolution is going to be the least of someone's worries if they have the stress like that.
Exactly, yeah. Because, yeah, it's like you said, everybody gets overwhelmed, and, the New Year's resolution is, the least important thing at that time. So, exactly, yeah. I don't know what else to add to that except I agree, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, just some New Year's resolutions, of course, they're hard. You're not going to be able to complete them in a month. But at the same time, I feel like if your New Year's resolution, if you can complete it in the month of January, before January is over, you need to go back and think of a New Year's resolution, because if you can complete something you plan to set your mind to for a whole month, or I mean not a whole month, a whole year, and you finish that in a month, I don't think you really put in effort, of course, but I don't think you put in the effort to think of ahead. You just wanted something easy so you can say in 6 months,
Yeah,
hey, I completed my New Year's
yeah.
resolution.
You kind of just half-assed it, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like a New Year's resolution too. It's something where around this time in 2018, the year 2017, when it was time for a New Year's resolution, I could be like, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then around this time, I can look back in at last year or New Year's and say, hey, I completed what I wanted to complete. Hey, I'm at where I want to be at mentally and physically, or whatever your New Year's resolution is, and you can keep growing and improving from that as time goes on. And as 2019 rolls around, it's the end of 2019, not quite the year 2020, you want to look back at around this time and say, hey, this was my New Year's resolution. I thought about it and I completed it. It was successful. It wasn't something I half-assed, or it wasn't something I quit and then got back on. It was something that I did throughout the whole year.
Exactly. I agree with that. And also, you also, I want to throw this out there. Like, also, you don't want to just think about the next year towards the end of 2019. Let's say you don't want to think all about 2020, what you're gonna do in that year. Also, because, like I said, you could get overwhelmed. Like we said earlier, you could get overwhelmed. Super easy to get overwhelmed, especially with a new year. You got plans. You gotta plan out your years, your holidays. You gotta see when they are, all that good stuff. If you're younger, you gotta the school year's about halfway over roughly. You still got to worry about school. So I would also say that towards the end of the year, you should also reflect on your previous year. Like towards the end of 2019, you should think about 2019. Like what could I have done better? Blah 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 blah, yada yada, etc. And whatever you could have done better, you can apply to your resolution in 2020.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing that would actually help that I just thought of right now is actually mostly everyone has a smartphone, or they keep a calendar or a note sheet somewhere near in their house. You can put down the year before the year 2019 starts, put down New Year's resolution for the year 2019, put down 5 points that you want to do. Say you want to lose weight, that's your reach. That's what exactly. If you do that, then you will make it. Say you want to get a job if you're a teenager, or maybe you want to get a better job if you're an adult, and you want to improve mentally and physically. You want to eat more healthier. Falls into losing weight, but if you eat more healthier, it just helps for your next step. Say you want to get a car, you want to buy yourself a new car, you want to buy yourself that new Camaro, you want to buy yourself that new SUV, you want to buy yourself the new whatever. You can do that, and then say, yeah, your fifth goal is, hey, I want to get more money. You can list those off from what you want the most and what you can kind of work on for the next year as well, or as the year goes on, and just check those off. And by the time the year 2019 comes to an end, you go back to that list and you say, I did this, I didn't do this, I can improve on that, and I make sure I'll definitely do that before the next year is over, so on and so forth. So that creates a mental goal for you, because a New Year's resolution, yeah, it's typically one thing, but it doesn't have to be. It could be you want to get a job, you want to get a car, and you want to be happy. Put those down. Don't be afraid to try 3 new things throughout the whole year. You just can't limit yourself to at certain things, or just in a small square.
Yeah, one thing I also want to add to that though is like don't sure there's no limit. You can do whatever you want. I mean, it's good to go for big or go home, but that also refers back to how we were saying earlier in the podcast to like not get overwhelmed. Like when you're overwhelmed, the last thing you want to worry about is your New Year's resolution. So if you if you overwhelm yourself with your resolution before you get overwhelmed by anything else, that's also you'll lose motivation to do things, and the year will start off bad. You know what I mean, and like I said, it's good to go big or go home, but you also got to keep the mindset like, hey, there's gonna be other stuff that goes on in the year. A lot can happen in the year. A lot can happen in a year. It's unpredictable essentially, and a lot of people don't. I don't think a lot of people look through that standpoint. They're like, oh, this year this is gonna happen, and here's how I'm gonna do differently, and nothing's gonna mess me up, because something's gonna mess you up. I don't care who you are. Something's gonna go unplanned in your year.
Yeah, and I mean, that's also true. It's just you have to have a clear goal. You have to have the correct mindset before you apply yourself to one thing or multiple things, and things do mess you up in your New Year's resolution. Say, you want to lose weight, but you have to work. You have to maybe pick up your kids from somewhere, and that happens to a lot of parents nowadays, especially
Time
because
management.
yeah, time management. There's a lot of things going on in schools nowadays, which is not a bad thing, but it also limits your time for as an adult to go do some or maybe go to the gym or eat more healthier because you have to drive your kid from from their school to your house, or maybe you might go somewhere that your kid wants to go somewhere, or maybe someone you know wants to go somewhere, and you want to lose weight but you can't because you get off work, you're tired, you have to cook, you have to go pick up your kids, you have to bring them home, you have to feed them, maybe they have to go somewhere else, and there goes your time, or maybe you have to pick up your kids later on. But also at the same time, I feel like some people can do it, but other people just use it as an excuse, because I've met some people who say, "Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. It's so stressful." But honestly, it doesn't. Some people can do it, and if you can't do it, it's understandable. But you can always do something to achieve that New Year's resolution, whether that be eating more healthy, not necessarily going to the gym, because one thing that's most important in a diet, or when you're trying to lose weight, is your diet. If you want to lose weight and you just go to the gym all the time, but you keep eating all the same junk food and even more junk
Exactly.
food, you're just not gonna lose that weight as a New Year's resolution.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive. Like, you it's like saying I'm gonna. Well, let's vice versa that. Let's say I'm gonna stop eating junk food, but I'm literally gonna sit on the couch all day and not even walk to work or walk to school or whatever. Not gonna walk around. I'm gonna be late to class every day because I want to crawl down the hallway or something like that. Like, you gotta. It's more than just one step. Honestly, resolutions, they sound like one step. Like, hey, I want to lose weight, but you got to be able to get to a gym or get outside where you live, or maybe go to your in-home gym if you're fortunate enough to have one of those, and like, you got to have the time for it and the motivation. Like, so many things go into this one thing that you want to do in a whole year, and I think that's why they're New Year's resolutions, because it's not going to take like, oh, I want to do this for this month. Like, that's not a New Year's resolution in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it kind of if you set you're set something for 1 month, but for that to do that, say you wanna cut soda for a month, and then once you cut it for a month, you're probably not gonna go back to it. Or say you wanna do something for a month, but you have 12 different goals, so that's one goal per month, and that can add up to say a new goal. Or say your New Year's resolution. Say, uh, this month I want to get a job. The second month I want to cut this type of food. Say chips. You want to cut the chips out. So that's two things you already completed in 2 months. And say your big goal, the goal you're reaching for is be happy and be healthy. You can achieve that way, but you can't say I achieved my New Year's resolution in 1 month. It has to be something, a big picture that you can do in 12 months and longer. And after that, keep getting more money, keep eating more healthy, keep going to the gym a lot more, keep doing more cardio, keep running, keep doing anything that can help you feel better and make you really think in a positive mindset. And that's the thing that people just clutter everything everywhere. They don't have a focus point. They don't look at the board before they throw a dart, or they don't look at the target before they shoot their shot. They don't look at the basket. Stuff like that. That's what really slows people down for New Year's resolutions.
Right, right, and I have to agree with that, because like a lot of people get like we said earlier, overwhelmed, and like their mind gets clouded, and like you said, they don't focus on their New Year's resolutions. So that's one thing I would encourage for everybody for their New Year's resolutions, is to focus on them. That'd be the main object. But we never got to ask Caesar what his New Year's resolution was. So what was yours?
Basically, my New Year's resolution is going to be the same as this year's resolution, and that's be happy and try to spread positivity and try to be comfortable in my own skin and really not care what other people think, because it's a judgment that can really get someone down and really make someone upset. And also get more followers on Instagram and Twitter. Giving myself a little bit of shout out. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Caesar_rants. No, I'm playing, but I'm really not. I'm kind of desperate for followers at the moment. But
Yeah. Let me just shout out my Instagram real quick. Detorment, DETORMENT.
yeah,
There you go.
a little bit of a self promotion right there.
I just gotta gain some clout.
Clout's we can talk about clout later on, but in a future episode, talk about what really clout is for some people. But in all seriousness, just as a little recap, I want to know your New Year's resolution. If you, I know you said you didn't really think of one, but as we've been talking, I know my New Year's resolution is becoming a lot more clear, and I'm trying to set up some steps for me to accomplish it. I want to know your New Year's resolution, or if you have any steps for it.
Right, it's like I said earlier. My New Year's resolution, basically, to sum it all up, is to finish what I started. Like, whether it's schoolwork or committing to something. Like marching band, I've got 1 year left. I'm gonna commit to and finish it out. I mean, just certain things like I don't know, chores. You finish your chores. Do everything you want to do. Like don't delay yourself. Something like don't be like I'll do it later and stuff. Like no, just get it done, get it out of the way, and you'll feel a lot more better. You won't feel overwhelmed because you want to push everything aside and have to do it all at once. But on that note, I wanted to wish you all luck with your New Year's resolutions. I was the guest speaker today on Cesar's podcast. Cesar Fernandez is here with me. I'm Jameson Harris, and our time is slowly coming to an end. So thank you for having me, and I'm sure I will be back on more podcasts very soon.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do a lot more episodes together. But until next time, everyone, this was Caesar Rants and Jameson Harris. I guess I can say goodbye now, and till next episode. Yeah, till next episode, Jameson.
Yep. See you later, guys.
Bye!